There we go. The catchy tune brings us in. Hi, Scott. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you tonight, Anthony?
Good. We have eyes watching us, which means we're live. I had things on my rundown. Press live stream before countdown. I've got Jan, my producer, in my ear saying 10 seconds. Don't forget to press the live stream because that's what happened last time. I forgot to press the live stream. Anyway, yeah. So let me just get to the comments here. Um, so we've got, of course, the wonderful Joey. Hi, everybody. Hope all is well. Can't wait for a great classical show. Well,
Hi, Joey.
sorry, Joe. We're talking about the Beatles tonight
And the Stones.
and the Stones. Pink Floyd, I'll talk about. And Mike, hey, Mike, how are you? And the wonderful Jack Graham. Hey, Jack, how are you? Evening, everybody.
Hi, Jack.
And the gentleman from LA, our wonderful friend Armin Kachaturian. Hello, everyone listening in the car. Hey, Armin. Well, stop the car, put the video on, and kick back and come join us live from the car. And what's the 101 there? The traffic never ends. Anyway, how are you, Scott? What's going on in your life? What's happening? It's been 2 weeks. I missed you.
Well, most of the 2 weeks have been taken up with this audio purchase that not a purchase, a trade that I'm thinking of doing.
We'll talk about that in a little while for sure.
Yeah.
Oh,
so I've been doing a lot of auditioning.
That's exciting.
Not so much video though.
Oh, that's okay. They're getting lots of videos for free. It's okay. They could wait for a little while.
I'd rather put out quality than quantity.
Absolutely. Now, this gentleman, Ted Sparks. Hey, Ted, how are you? Ted's a colleague of mine from Toronto. And is a brass specialist and looking forward to a great show. Welcome back. Thanks, Ted. It's great to see. I'm so glad you're on the show. Come up sometime, Ted. It'd be nice to see you face to face. And cranberry sauce. That's Alan, correct?
Alan, right?
Jan will give me the okay. Hey, music lovers, how did I survive 2 weeks of abstinence? Looking forward to tonight's discussion and presentations. Hey, Alan, how are you? Yes, it was fun. I was in Ottawa with my my wife and my beautiful little granddaughter, Flora, who is now 6 and going on 7. And we had the most wonderful time. And we stayed in a really lovely hotel called Le Germain. Jan and I stayed at those hotels in Montreal and Toronto and, of course, Ottawa. And so she comes and stays with us overnight. We get a cot and we go to the fancy restaurant there. She gets her little clothes. And then, of course, Jan goes insane and buys her $5,000 worth of clothes and toys and gifts. So she has new shoes to wear and she does a little fashion show. And she's the most delightful, happy child. She got a big award at her school, the Kindness Award. And for kindergarten, she had to come up and get her award. And they said they were very proud of her and the teachers loved her. So we love it. I mean, it's horrible. We shouldn't be blathering on about our grandchildren. But she's our only grandchild and we love her more than life itself. Anyway, Flaming Groove listeners, good evening. What is a great current model turntable with auto needle lift? That's interesting. Auto needle lift. Most audiophiles really kind of eschew that, but it is very, very handy if you have one. There is one that I reviewed. It's 2 models, one without the lift, one with the lift. I think it's the Torrens TD 1600 or something. It's a very good turntable. It's about 4,000 US. It's got auto needle lift. One of the models. I also reviewed a dual. They're at Audiophilia. Just type in Torrens, type in Audiophilia. Type in dual, and check it out. And they're both the auto needle lift. Very, very good. They're very effective. They're not. They don't hinder things in any way. They're very good. And Jack suggests the Technics 1500 with a question mark. I'm not sure that has a needle lift. And now Alan says he used my little friend, which is the correct spelling.
Yeah.
Which is a little device that goes on. Angie wanted me to review one. Putting anything on my turntable, you can see it there behind my shoulder. It's a sully set. I don't want anything to touch it except just
I don't blame you.
That very expensive arm, that very expensive cartridge, and that ridiculously expensive stabilizer. You can see
Yeah.
on top. It's only 6,000 euros. What the hell? It was sent to me. Anyway, so that's great. So the little friend is a little mechanical device that sits on your, and it's supposed to be very effective. It's just I'm not a great fan of the look.
Yeah. As soon as it hits,
yeah,
gravity lifts it up, right? Yeah.
And SSP, hi, how are you? Welcome back. My first good turntable was an old VPI TNT Series 3. I never did spring for the 1,000 for the SDS. Well, stay tuned for that SSP because we have some updates on that SDS, which is I will tell you, I've reviewed it many years ago. It's wonderful. And to the stage, we're going to add our two great friends, Carl and James. Carl, how are you?
Oh, pretty good. I'm last leg of my Indonesian journey. I'm in Bali at the moment. If you recognize the different background here, I'm out in the porch.
Oh, really?
The wife and kids
very nice.
Sleeping. Yeah, so we took a 5 days here before we head back, and I begin to head back to New York next week.
Are you in a different location today? No, I know just the porch. That's not the porch of your old house.
No, this is in Bali now. The island Bali.
Oh,
you know, the big
Bali, very nice.
Same beach and other things. Just that kids can have fun. I can have fun.
Where all the influences go. All the influences go there. Yeah. Oh, right. I mean, Bali is incredible. Bali was incredible 50 years ago, but Bali is really it's very, very popular. So where are you in Bali? Are you on a beach or are you?
Oh, it's close to the beach. We ended up in a villa area where it's very old style. So it's like a huge house, but it's got 4 bedrooms, and 5 bathrooms, but it's really old, wooden, and crickety, but kind of an old feel of 60s and 70s, when I was a kid and would go on vacation. So you could kind of see the wood stuff all around.
The backdrop looks wonderful. Now, most importantly, when are you coming home?
I can't tell you that, Anthony. It's totally
you have some very expensive speakers in your house ready to review for the November 1st deadline. Remember that, my friend.
Yes, I'm looking forward to back.
That's going to be wonderful.
System.
I'm just kidding. You look like you've had the most wonderful time in Indonesia with your family, and you've been to Singapore, you went to China, and now you're in Bali, and it looks like you have the girls of having a lifetime of memories, of course, with their heritage being Indonesian, because your wife is Indonesian. That's wonderful. So do they know how to make nasi goreng yet?
Oh, they do some cooking. They work with my wife in the kitchen sometimes and make things, and learned a lot that way. Yeah, they do. And they're getting there.
The little ones, one of the ones is going back to the Bronx High School for Science and Math. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's the older one, the 13-year-old, starting high school.
Wow, that's going to be amazing. She's going to be a doctor or an engineer or something. She's a genius. And I beg your pardon?
She'll be busy.
Yeah, she will be. I saw that school. I saw the curriculum. When you told me she got in, I checked it out. It's an amazing place. And the little one's going to go back to her cello?
Yes, I think she is. We already signed her up for the same person who was introduced her to the cello. And when we get back, we'll discuss what the program will be for her. But yes, indeed.
That is
down
fabulous.
The street. Convenient.
Yeah. Great. And James, how are you? Good to see you.
I'm okay. Yes, I'm carrying on as usual.
You set your alarm for 5 to 1 and woke up and said, I got to get on. I'm on television tonight. Yeah. Clara, no, leave me alone, Clara. Get off me, Clara. I'm on television in about 5 minutes. I need to.
No. She's off doing her TV job. So
is she still working on that television show?
Oh, yeah. She's on it till September.
Well, you got to tell her she's got to come back and have a return engagement. She was a massive hit. I've tried to get my producing wife on, but she won't come on. Jan, you come on tonight? No. No. Anyway, it's great to see you. What you been up to, Jim?
I don't know, really. All sorts of things. Yeah, meetings, doing my sort of stuff with the hospitals and things that I do. I sit on various committees. Not really so much music at the moment. Sort of helping going to the Edinburgh Festival for a few days.
Oh, nice. What are you going to see?
Well, Clara's daughter's in a play there, which is going to be on for a whole 4 weeks.
Oh, wonderful.
So we're going to go up there to see that, and also, I mean, I love Edinburgh.
It's a great
um,
city. It's the
yeah.
only city in England, only city in Britain that I'd live outside of London. It's so cool.
Yeah, it is. It's a fantastic city, and I joined the Edinburgh Festival as well. I mean, the buzz is amazing, and you
Like
get to see
4,000
some really
activities,
interesting things.
4,000 activities and great orchestras, opera, plays. Well, that's wonderful. Now, when are you off to Edinburgh?
August, mid-August.
Just make sure they have Wi-Fi.
I have no idea where I'm going to be staying. I'll probably
You're
sleeping on the floor.
Well, Jim, you get on it and get it organized. You're bloody. Okay,
it'll be with me data allowance. I'll be.
That's right. Oh
I'll
my
be.
God.
Make sure I've still got 1 gig of data left to squeeze in an appearance. Yes.
When we had the power failures, every Wednesday, we have another one tomorrow, but it's not, thank God, on Wednesday. I used up my data. They, Telus said to me, "Oh, Anthony, you used up your data. You want to spend another $30 on data?" It's such a ripoff. Anyway, I've got a couple of things here about for the gentleman who asked about the cable lift. The cable lift, that's another whole story. The arm lift. Get any table you want and add a true lift tone arm lifter. There you go. That's another one. I don't know that one. And Jack says, "Hi Jim, hi Carl, great to see you both." That's from Jack.
Hi Jack. Yeah.
Hey, Jack.
So guys, we got on properly tonight, which is great because I didn't have the press the live stream. And we don't have a guest this week or next week, and I did that on purpose because I want to do 90 minutes with just the team and a peanut gallery, and get as many questions, things like turntable lifts, and talk about equipment, and just get through that. And but in 2 weeks' time, let me just get that up. On July 31st, excuse me, we have Jerome Saber. He's a recording artist and founder of a new record company called Analog Tone Factory, and he's sponsored by Dart Zeal, that incredible Swiss component manufacturer, and also by Stenheim, another Swiss company, speaker company. And if you look down below that, the scheduled in no particular order, we have Jonathan Ailing. He's co-principal cello of the Royal Philharmonic. There he is right there. That's Jim's friend. Jim, tell us a little bit about John.
Well, I've known John since he was about 14 or 15. And the first time I met him, he played the opening of the Elgar Cello Concerto with an orange. He didn't use his fingers. He used an orange. I thought, this boy's going to go places. He's obviously got techniques that most cellists only dream about. But no, he was tremendously talented then. He studied with David Strange at the Royal Academy, and eventually he's taken over David Strange's job in the principal cello chair of the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra. David Strange was in that job for many years, very distinct. He was a great cellist. And one interesting thing is Jonathan now teaches at the Royal Academy the new generation of people.
Oh, he does.
Encouraging them to go into orchestral playing, because I think, to be honest, there is a huge shortage of violas, cellos, double basses.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
I mean, they're difficult instruments to play anyway. And so he does that. He also played at the coronation of King Charles III at Westminster Abbey.
Cool.
He was one of the two cellists there. So hopefully we can ask him about that.
Well, we're working at John's. I thought the summer would be quiet for them, but they're busy. He's in Greece and also all over the place. But he'll be coming on. So Jerome in 2 weeks, and 2 weeks after that, I'll have somebody. I'm still working on Steve Hoffman for you. Steve's an amazing guy, but it's pretty hard to nail down any times because his son does all the technical stuff in it. So, and it's the summer, but we're working on it. You'll notice down there, there's two other new names. Robert Wolfrey, a very good friend of mine. He's a clarinet player in the Cleveland Orchestra. We'll talk about his audition process. How I remember doing some coaching with him, and then he did these auditions, and he played really well for 3 or 4 really second-tier orchestras. Didn't get them. I'm going to audition for the Cleveland. I said, oh, great, Robert. Well, fantastic. You'll be amazing. And he did. He got it. So he didn't get the second or third tier orchestras, but he got the Cleveland Orchestra. So I know there's a lot of fans of the Cleveland Orchestra out there, so we have lots of questions. And Robert's a wonderful clarinetist. And if you notice, there's a young man down there, Leo Purich. And I saw Leo when I was on vacation. He's the son of one of my best friends, Peter Purich. He's a violinist. So I tried to get him on tonight, but he made some crappy excuse about refinishing his floors. I think he's just scared to come on. I'm not going to embarrass him. But Peter's an amazing guy. He's a luthier. Makes the most wonderful violins, as his father did before him. And Peter's a wonderful violinist. He's Musique de Montréal and the Montreal Symphony, National Youth Orchestra Canada. But his son, Leo Purich, is going to come on the show. He's a lot braver than his dad. Leo is a composer and a very good composer, a little bit like Eleanor Alberga, Tom Bones' wife. Writes really wonderful, accessible, but modern music with a twist. And he's wonderful, but he's also a professional violist. Talking about, so Jim will have some questions for Leo. And Leo was principal viola of the National Youth Orchestra Canada, which is some feat. So that's great. And I've known Leo since he was born. And he started composing at a very early age, and he's had commissions from professional orchestras and the National Youth Orchestra Canada, which is beloved as much as the National Youth Orchestra Great Britain is in England. So that'll be fun. So we got those coming up, and of course AB, and so that'll be fun. I've got other people I'm working on as well, so that should be fun. Okay, now, so tonight, please comment lots and ask lots of questions, which you're doing. It's wonderful. But keep them coming, guys, to keep them coming. Please like and subscribe. That's really important. We'd like that. And again, don't be shy. You know, I try to get Pete on. He's like, I got to finish my floors. I'm preparing. Oh, Peter, give me a break. Right? It's so easy. But once you get on, the narcissism takes over. Then they want to be on all the time, right? People get, what do you mean you didn't invite me on? Just come on. So we got to get Joey on. Joey, yes. Come on, just come up. Don't be silly. And Ted, it'd be great to see you as well. And all you need is a laptop with a camera and pretty good Wi-Fi. And just don't have YouTube on in the house. As long as you don't have YouTube on, you're fine. But it'd be great. And if you have some records to show, I know that Ted is a digital guy. We've been talking a long time about vinyl and digital, and he likes digital. And I got some digital to show you tonight. So yeah, just come up, hang out. Just come hang out. There are no wrong questions, no silly questions. Anything classical goes. Anthony, what do you like? What's the violinist you like? Scott, what's your favorite recording of Beethoven's Seventh Symphony? Jim, how many violists did you? Oh, anyway, that's another question. So there's any question goes. Okay, Jim, you can ask any question. There's a couple of good answers there, I'll tell you. And then so Jim and Carl are up, and I'm going to talk about the new releases, and we're going to talk about some new gear announcements, and then we can talk about something a little bit contentious tonight. There's been some interesting developments on the web about a couple of companies threatening litigation of reviewers for a negative review, which means there was one line that said, "This I didn't like the sound of this piece on this equipment." I mean, these people are so sensitive about anything that's said about them, and I've been noticing it, and I talked to Angie about it on this channel. Yeah, and it's getting worse, and it's just the gatekeeping, and there's 5,000 high-end audio manufacturers, and they're all clamoring. So that anybody can go and jump on YouTube and go, "Hey, look, I'm a record reviewer," and so, but they're exacerbating it by using people who have no experience. That's fine. Everyone has an opinion. There's no problem. But just realize that when someone says something that's not flawless about your equipment, you have to deal with it. If you ask the question, you have to expect the answer. And it's not always going to be perfect. They should have Jan as a wife. Trust me, she'll tell you straight. Trust me. Anyway, so I'm going to go big for a second and talk about some new releases and some new gear. And then we'll talk about Scott's VPI audition. That's going to be very, very exciting. So let me just go back up here to the stage for a second. Actually, no, I'm going to go full for a second. Okay. So I think I spoke about this one briefly. This is Nicholas Van Pucke's second Schumann collection. I just got around to listening to it. It's about a year old. It's two CDs. By the way, Ted just said thoughts on Nezé Sagan's Brahms cycle. I'm going to be talking about that in about 5 minutes. Anyway, this is wonderful. I have the first volume on LP, and it's incredible. In fact, some of our viewers have bought it, and they're liking it a lot. I love that record. It's on the Audiophilia Dream List. If this was on vinyl and it was the same as that first one, it'd be on the Dream List. It's fantastic. SACD. And I'm going to talk about a piece of equipment I'm getting next week. This one, I just put a full review on Audiophilia. It's absolutely wonderful. Reference are very happy with me. Even if I wrote a negative review, I don't think they'd sue me. I know Jan Mancuso very well. She's a wonderful lady. But this is done by Sound Mirror. They do the Pittsburgh Symphony a lot. And this is Manfred Honeck. I'm not being a fan of everything he does. His Tchaikovsky 4, for example, is very mannered and clipped. I don't like it. The recordings are all wonderful. You're guaranteed a great recording. These Sound Mirror guys know what they're doing. And the orchestra is fabulous. There's no doubt it's always been very good. Jim, didn't you review their Beethoven with Steinberg?
I did, and I also reviewed his Death and Transfiguration he did.
Yeah,
which
and you liked it.
I thought it was okay, but I thought it was a little mannered and a bit sort of.
Well, that's what he does sometimes. I agree completely. But let me tell you, he's a great Bruckner man. His Bruckner 9 is fantastic. I gave it full due when I reviewed it, but this is even better. And the Bates piece, Resurrects It, is also excellent. You go to Audiophile, read my review. If you're an SACD fan, or I played it on the CD layer, it's absolutely magnificent. The orchestra is beautiful. The soloists are wonderful. I have one or two very small nitpicks, which is just, tiny. Some people would recognize it, some people won't. It doesn't affect it at all. It's just a wonderful recording, a triumph all around. Wonderful. In fact, if I was only having a digital one, this would be it. My other one is coming for the third time, the digital Deutsche Grammophon Vienna Phil. Cellini's coming. He should be here next week. We'll see if it works. Anyway, that's fantastic. I showed you this one that Angie gave me. I reviewed it. There's a full review now in Audiophilia. It's absolutely fantastic. I listened to that almost for a week solid. I didn't have an LP on. That's how good it was. It's really good. Fantastic. Esoteric. This is a lovely CD. If you want to get some great chamber music, this is Haydn's, Schubert, and Ravel trios. This is the Jugend trio, Spanish and Japanese trio. It's on the Eudora label. I got to take my... There we go. The Eudora label. There you can see it there. Eudora. It's an SACD. It can be played on the CD layer, no problem. But it's very, very fine. Beautiful playing. Great. There's no weak links. All three wonderful instrumentalists, very evenly balanced. Great recording and beautiful music. So it's called Awakened by the Jugend Trio on Eudora. Highly recommended. Now to some other ones here. Let's to the stage. Okay, there you go. Ted. Oh, Angie's here. Hey, Ange. How are you, Ange? I'm going to come on up in a little while if you want. So, Ted, thoughts on the Nezé Sagan? I'm a huge fan of Yannick's. I've known Yannick since he was about 18, conducting. In fact, Peter Purich and Peter Purich's wife played with him in the Orchestra Metropolitan. And so they know him way better than I do. But he was a wunderkind when he was 18. Highly talented, and it's transferred, and he's grown and grown and grown. You don't get Philly and the Met if you're a lousy musician. You just don't. And he's amazing. Everything I've seen him do, he's been really, really good. He's really into social media. So if I've commented on a record and I've liked it, which is most of the stuff, he retweets it. Merci beaucoup. And that's great. And I remember seeing, if you want to see what he's really like, his first video with his first video. Let me just get Angie on. Hey, Ange, how are you, love? So lovely to see you. I'll be with you in a day. I'm just going to get through these first. So the first video he did was a very short video with the Philadelphia Westminster Chorale and the orchestra doing some Mozart. Not flashy. He's not going to be waving his baton. He's just using his hands. And he had that choir singing so beautiful, so musically. So what's that? The Mozart, something from the Mozart Requiem, I think it is, or Mozart C minor Mass, but it's wonderful. Now to the symphonies. He uses the Chamber Orchestra of Europe. Jim can pipe in anytime about this group. Jim and I know many members of this group. In fact, we're friends with some of the members of this group. Matthew Wilkie, bassoon from Sydney Symphony. Who's the violin teacher? It was great buddies of Gabby Lester was the concert master for many years. You know, we know because they formed out of the European Community Youth Orchestra, ECYO, which we used to call it Trinity, ECY Bother. But we were pretty jealous because they were a pretty damn good group. And Claudio Abbado conducted them, founded them. So when they disbanded, a little bit like the Venezuelan one, they wanted to go pro. Fine. And so they're kind of a pickup group, and they show, and they get the greatest conductors. They've had, you know, Abbado, they've had Haitink, and now Yannick. Now he's used them for his Mozart operas. Not my favorite playing. And the Brahms, some parts, the second symphony last movement is brilliant. But I listened to the first three symphonies, and they're good. I mean, look, they're well played, they're well recorded. Does he do anything magical with them? Not really. They're just, it's Brahms. If you get out of the way, they'll look after themselves. And he does that. So yeah, if you don't have any Brahms symphonies, you could buy these. You could buy the ones, the Deutsche Grammophon set with the recent one with Barenboim, and his opera orchestra is better. But it's good. So I love the cover. I love the colors, and it's very striking. But Ted, have a stream. Tell me what you think. Text me. Let me know what's going on. Okay, just a quick question here. Thomas, hi Thomas. I'm not sure if you're new or not, but anyway, welcome. A great question, Anthony. Have you heard about the new assistant principal flutist of the Vancouver Symphony? Yes, I have. Julian Chung, a 17-year-old, will start with Vancouver as it graduates. He won the audition, the international auditions, and Peter Purich, my friend Peter, sent me a text. Anthony, is this for real? Yeah, he's for real. 17 years old. He must be incredibly talented. A real phenom. So anyway, now the next one. I'm sorry I'm hogging this, but I wanted to take some time tonight to do some of the new stuff. This is Simon's new 45 CD set with the Berlin Phil on. It's supposed to be very, very good. Getting lots of questions, and I will get to all your questions, guys. I promise. And this is the new Bruckner set. Boy, Bruckner's really having a whale of a time because of his 200th birthday, which is in September. These are all with different conductors. I'm sure they'll be wonderful, except Telemann. Jim, have you heard Telemann's Bruckner?
Yes. It's boring.
He slows down at every cadence. Like it just slows down under its own weight in every cadence. It's crazy. I don't know. I don't like it. But I don't think
there's a problem. I think there's a problem in some areas, particularly with German conductors and German orchestras, because they try to own Bruckner in a way. I mean, you know, years ago, nobody was interested in Bruckner, and you know, like Hindemith and people, nobody wanted to program him. But now he's been discovered, and
big time. He's massive.
They want to own him. And therefore, it's sort of they're going on the sort of side of the rather heavy, slow, which of course, you know, people say, oh well, Klemperer was slow. No, Klemperer's recordings of Bruckner are in a league of their own, and
his fourth, especially.
There's also a couple of sort of cheap sets recorded in various cathedrals in Germany, which are just sort of, you know, they're just sound swimming in an acoustic, and you think, well, maybe they could have been good sets, but you know, acoustically they're just completely ruined. But I think
Lubeck Cathedral and
the Lubeck thing, you know, and even, I mean, I'll
Florian.
Yeah, and I'll stick with Schurig every time, because I just think, you know,
the Giulini's are amazing too.
Yeah, the Giulini's are good. I had listened to those last week. Yeah, they're very good.
This is another one of those DG little wunderkinds. He's actually 27. He looks a lot younger there. Julius Aesel. Scriabin Scolati, one of those theme CDs, a little bit like the Icelandic pianist does that Carl enjoys so much. He's very good. He's very good. He's a lot more impressive than that conductor they foisted on us a couple of weeks ago. He's very good. You can stream all this stuff, guys. So you don't. I'm not telling you to go buy the CDs or there's an LP version. Just go stream it. It's all there. This is so. I can't tell you. One of my favorite violinists has recorded the Elgar, but I can't talk to you about it right now. But this is another one of my favorite violinists. Jim, do you know anybody?
Oh yeah,
Any,
no, I
and
love Villa Frank. Tchaikovsky is fab. I love her Tchaikovsky.
she's a wonderful. She's Norwegian, I think. Does anybody else know Vilde Frang? Anybody in the Peanut Gallery? She's a remarkably good violinist, but she's doing the Elgar, which is, Jim can speak about this far more than I can. But it's in the top 4 or 5 of the great concertos. It's also one of the top 2 or 3 most difficult concertos. It's fiendishly difficult. So it'll be interesting. Robert Ticchiati, he's a very good conductor. Deutsche Symphony Orchestra, good orchestra. They'll play it well. But it's I'm looking forward to that. And I'll probably give that a full review at Audiophilia. And what else we got here? Oh, yeah, I thought this would be good for you guys. John, the importance of the producer is not stressed, and it's John Coleshaw was the producer's producer. He did all the Schulte, the Ring, and everything, the famous Ring. But there's a Decca box set of all his recordings of the early years. I thought that would be interesting to have a listen to. An amazing producer. And this is Joanna Malwitz. Remember when we didn't have any female conductors? Now you can't swing a cat without hitting one. And Joanna Malwitz is a very good one. She conducts the Concerthouse Orchestra of Berlin, which is a very good orchestra. Doing Kurt Weill symphonies and Kurt Weill pieces. It's very good. But she just graduated to a big orchestra. Maybe someone in the Peanut Gallery can tell me. I can't remember. Anyway, someone just got a little bit of echo on. Watch your YouTube and stuff, guys. Anyway, that's Kurt Weill. That's very good. Now to equipment. Angie was very, very kind and donated Regular Planer 3, and young Mr. Tate, the trumpet player, Nate, the trumpet player, who won. Angie said, "What color does he want? We're going to ship it right from the American." So he said, "I want," and it was walnut and this black, white, and red. He went, "I love red, please." So that's what he's getting. And of course, Jack gave the Bruckner 4 Deutsche Grammophon original source album. That's on this. Actually, he's not getting it till the 19th because he's away. So we'll send that. Now, this is the. I've been doing a lot of videos and a lot of reviews, CD reviews, and my CD is the CD DAC by MBL. Angie sells it. We can't. Right? It's 15,400 US. It's absolutely magnificent. Jürgen Ries, for whatever reason, and he has very valid reasons in a white paper why he doesn't like the SACD drive. And he said it adds noise, and the regular Redbook CD drive is much easier. Carl, can you tell us a little bit about your CD player and what it is and why you got that one?
Oh, the Jays.
Jay's Audio, yeah.
Yeah, that one. They kind of took some of the older drives for that, and they kind of redid them and then put a tank-like structure on it to give it enormous amounts of insulation. And it's heavy, it's like almost 50 pounds. And just devoted to Redbook CD. It doesn't do anything else. It has nothing fancy beyond that. And I kind of reviewed it. I really enjoyed the sound of it, very natural, I needed a CD player because I didn't have one. So I had been ripping CDs.
You purchased it, didn't you?
Jay has their own website. I ended up buying it. Yeah, I did. Got a discount on it. And I've kept it ever since. I had so many CDs that I inherited from my father, for example, that I needed something to play. And that was a nice solution.
Oh, fabulous. Well, I love my CD player so much. It's so musical. And I don't think I'm missing anything with the SACD layer, but I can't talk about it unless I get a great SACD player. And so I went to the Mohammed went to the mountain. I called my friends at Metronome, who, full disclosure, are an advertiser with Audiophilia. Jean-Marie Clausel, wonderful fellow from France. And Metronome have come a long way in the last 15 years. And they produced some really great stuff, some very expensive CD stuff. Callista, this is 22,000 US. It's not cheap, so it's much more expensive than the MBL. But I'm looking forward to seeing how these CDs that I was playing you, the Awaken, the Jugend Trio, and the one that Angie sent me. I want to see. This sounds so beautiful on my MBL that it's got to be something on SACD if it's going to. But with esoteric, you never underestimate them, right? So I'm looking forward to hearing all those things on that. That's going to be delivered the weekend. I'm going to fast track that review. It's going to be up September 1st. And what else we got here? Oh, I'll come back to that when we. Okay, so we're going to come back to that when we. Okay. So, Scott, why don't you tell us a little bit about your VPI? You're muted, Scott. Scott, you're muted.
Thank you. I'm not sure. Did we touch on it initially 2 weeks ago?
Briefly, give us the whole story. We got lots of time.
Okay. My audio dealer, Osvaldo Martinez of Let There Be Sound, he took in a trade of a VPI Scout with a classic platter. And he said to me, hey, would you like to audition it in your system? He's been helping me upgrade my system with the ModRite PH 9.0 phono stage, and then the system audio speakers. And, I have the basis of 1400. And I was like, I don't know if I really need an upgrade there. And he said, I think you're gonna hear a difference and an improvement. And so I said yes. And he brought it over, and I made a couple of videos about it because there was a couple of issues. He hadn't inspected it before he brought it over here. He took it from the client who he knows. And there was an issue with the motor and then the pulley. But once we got that settled, we got pretty much right on speed. I heard it that way, and then I heard it with his ADS controller. And although I didn't get to keep the ADS controller during my auditions over the last 2 weeks, I made the decision just 2 nights ago to say yes to the trade.
Yay!
Yeah,
Congratulations.
it's just an even trade, except for the ADS. I'll have to pay an accommodation price for it, but I think it's important to have that as well.
It is. It's going to double the quality of that turntable.
Yeah, the record that kind of sold me, I was in the middle of listening to it, was this. Michael Hedges' Aerial Boundaries. It's not a classical record, but
that's okay.
It has elements of classical folk. He's a guitarist for Windham Hill. That record is spectacular. Oh my God. It just was on a whole different universe of sound than I was getting on the basis. I'm very impressed with it. The Hannah actually sounds much, much better on this arm too. So I'm excited.
It's a very good arm.
Yeah, I'm excited. For a mere $800 or so, I'm getting a big upgrade, I think. And between that and the system audio Pandion speakers and everything, things are coming along quite rapidly lately.
It's come a long way in even the time that I've known you, Scott.
Yeah.
So the only thing we have to do now is think about cables, and
right.
They are very important. And I'm going to get Angie to send you a whole loom of transparent, about $50,000. There's no problem.
Hey, there's 3 lines of cables I could send you.
She's a lovely woman. She's a lovely woman. No, that's great. And then you got your integrated amp that you want to upgrade. You got a nice one that you want to get rid of. But it's really, you're getting into some serious high-end stuff now, man. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
And what's more importantly, you're loving it and enjoying the journey, but you appreciate the sound difference.
Oh yes, I can hear it very clearly. It's a powerful sound from that BPI. Much more dynamic than the basis.
Yeah, I love the basis. Angie was a dealer for basis, and when AJ was alive, and for VPI for Matt. Right?
And VPI.
And VPI. Yeah. So she Angie knows them all. And I did, and I reviewed your basis and loved it. It was a lovely, it's entry level, but it's lovely turntable. But the thing about the basis, it sounds good, but it looks so good.
I know. Yeah. I'm gonna miss
that.
That's the
thing. That's the VPI is not my, it's VPI is big American beefy.
Yeah.
But what is it done with? What do they call it? Laser. manufacturing, whatever they call it,
Yeah.
3D manufacturing.
Right.
But the arm, if people in the peanut gallery, Harry lost his son, Matt. I think it was Matt, not Matthew. I forget the son's name. And so they made the JMW, which is the son's name, memorial arm. That was many, many years ago. And he's been refining it ever since. It's a unipivot arm.
Right.
And it's very good, very good. So
that took a little getting used to, but
so yeah. Congratulations. It's like, whoa, what's going on? But it's very effective. It's as good a system as any. So that's
right.
great. So now, while we've got Angie on, we're going to get into something a little bit contentious. And what I'm really interested in is hearing from the peanut gallery. So I'm here to this late, and I have no dog in the fight, except that I'm a reviewer, and I have my colleagues and my friends who review with me. So I'm always looking out for them. And I'll tell you, it's about negative reviews and reviewers and litigation in general. Let me tell you how Angie handles it. Don't want to embarrass you here, Angie, but okay. Many years ago, I was reviewing the Rega Planet CD player. Now, I'm a huge Roy Gandy fan. I'm a Rega fanboy. Everyone knows that who reads the magazine. Angie knows I'm a Rega fanboy. Love the company, love the idea of it, love the research. But boy, it was not doing it for me. And I had Jan listen. She got great ears. It wasn't doing it for Jan. So I said to Angie, I'm going to write the review, but Angie said, well, before you write the review, let me bring over some Rega products and we can mix and match and see if that does any better for you. So she didn't go, Anthony, what are you doing? I'm going to lose sales. She just said, let's think logically about this. So everybody and his dog loved the Rega Planet. Me and Ken Kessler didn't like it. What I did say was Roy Gandy is a brilliant man and his Model 2 is going to be a knockout. And it was. All Roy was trying to do was get a vinyl record into a very cool looking CD player. And it was okay. It was good, but it wasn't great. But this Mark II was really, really good. And his CD players continue to be good. But that's what Angie did. She didn't complain, bitch, moan, pressure me. She just said, let's try some other things. And we did, and it didn't work, but that was fine. So what's happened is that Angie and I have talked about this. And by all means, guys, please pipe in. And also in the peanut gallery. We've been talking about this. The respect in the business has been deteriorating for some time, and Angie and I, we don't like it. We don't like it, and so I found the ghosting is ridiculous, gaslighting. But the worst thing is the gatekeeping. There's 5,000 high-end audio manufacturers. There's, I think, 5, 6, 7 magazines, people who have really great ears and are honest and will do a good job. Other people, maybe I just don't know them, but I think some people are in it just to get, fluff reviews and get equipment, but that's fine. It's your choice to read who or you don't want to read. But what's happened is in the last little while, and I've heard this before, I've never been threatened with litigation. Angie threatened me a couple of other ways, but not with litigation. Never, Angelina, never. So I've had people say, take my advertising. Okay, take your advertising, no problem. And the reviews were okay. They were kind of like damned with faint praise a little bit, but people are very sensitive. So 2 companies, one, I've heard their stuff. I'm not a great fan. One is a legacy company and makes incredibly good equipment. Full disclosure, Angie sells them, so we have to be careful. Right? But don't
be careful.
That's okay, my darling. But let me tell you something. They make knockout equipment. And if you don't like it, that's fine. But I can tell you, everything I've heard from them is fantastic. But it's also very, very expensive. So the company, the speaker company in question, threatened the guy, take it down this video. And of course, it's all on YouTube because YouTube is instantaneous and the power is amazing now. As Angie said about Exponent, they're all YouTubers, right? And Munich. And anybody who's dogging it on to make a video, this piece of equipment is the greatest turntable I've ever heard. You'll never hear anything better. That kind of nonsense. So that's fine. Enjoy it or not, or don't watch. But anyway, this guy measured, did a very good job from what I saw. You either agree with it or not, and did a fair to middling review. And there was a dropout of something. And he said the dropout, when he measured it, it didn't affect the listing at all. It was very nice. The guy went nuts. And it seems that this guy, the owner, has gone nuts with other people as well and threatened litigation. And then, and you can go on YouTube and search for it. The reviewer litigation. It's all over. And literally, it was very ugly. The emails. Instead of just saying, "Listen, can we work this out? And can you put it on private?" It's of course, every reviewer I know, A, is going to probably take it down because they don't want the drama, and second of all, or we'll just go, "Sure, let me just check with the editor or the publisher, and we'll put it on private till we get it sorted out." Or do like Angie did. How can we fix this? He didn't do that. Just threatened litigation and really nasty letters. So this also happened with this other company, this legacy company. But it seems today that the owner of the company is highly embarrassed, and on Instagram, I did a mea culpa, and a really like a 5-page mea culpa, like I didn't want this to happen, and the gentleman, the reviewer in question, because the reviewer seemed like a very articulate young man, and they took on the wrong guy. I mean, he was very nice and very charming and personable. So as Angie said, there are two sides, but this that upset me is a great person was let go, and he did mention that. So yeah, there are always two sides. Unfortunately, with the internet, it gets blown out of proportion. It's probably just a storm in a teacup. But the emails that I read were not pleasant. I didn't read the one from the company that Angie. I just read the ones on from that other company, and they were ugly. So guys, just putting it out there, what do you think about what's going on in this business these days? And there is freedom of the press. I would just say, like, my lawyer is better than your lawyer. Do what the hell you like. I don't care. Just ignore it. But not everybody feels that way, and people and these two reviewers have been very affected by this. Very affected. Yeah. So what do you think?
What I think is, where are the grown-ups in the room? That's my first comment. The second comment is probably understood by most audiophiles. And it's a word that's used so liberally without real compassion. And I'm still upset over this.
That's okay. I'm sticking.
When people say passion, well, for heaven's sake, when you're passionate, you're uber sensitive, and you have a tendency to overreact. So audiophiles should understand passionate and what it really entails. It entails quick responses without thought. We think about it later. So there's a lot of misinformation that's come out of this. I personally think that I've embraced the online presence. Obviously, I'm with you, and I've embraced it. But when it's used as a weapon, and this particular instance has so many different angles that both are right, both are wrong, and it's all a misunderstanding. And I'll give you an example because I like to simplify things. For example, someone that works for me comes to my defense, and they take it overboard because they are so passionate about the place that they're working, the product they represent, and they may go out of bounds and say, without thinking of the consequences, oops, maybe I shouldn't have written that down. It's one thing to say it. So do we punish my employee for coming to my defense? Of course not. We straighten him out. We say, look, this was incorrect to attack with those kind of words. I understand that it's coming from a good place. I understand it's coming from passion. But no, it had to go the dirty, rotten way, which was one has to apologize to the other. What's that? What does that mean? All right. So now we have a person who misunderstands. By the way, there was no lawsuit. There was a letter written from a lawyer. There was an employee that maybe used expressive words that should not have been used, and that employee has the right to apologize. But for the captain of the ship, and I appreciate what DCS did, but I wouldn't have done that.
You mentioned the name, I didn't.
I did.
Yeah, you did.
And I think that that is an What does this do? It weaponizes, it arms YouTubers to feel muscular and strong. I'm sorry, but there isn't a balance
That's the
that's
word.
working here.
That's the
I
word.
need a balanced life. I need balance to work for brick and mortar. I need balance to work on online. But for this kid, to me looks like a kid because, hey, I'm an old lady, right?
I don't
To
believe that.
attack and do this. And then by the way, he worked for the company Headphone something, right? So he was an employee. I mean, there's so much distortion
But
that
also,
it
Ange,
is not clear.
forgive me, Ange. Don't. When I was watching, I'd never heard of the company, the headphones, and I checked. They sell this stuff as well.
They were a dealer. They decided as a sacrificial lamb or some kind of whatever, well, we're going to just cut ourselves off.
Maybe I'm old
Well,
school.
what?
How the
To
hell can
defend
you
what?
sell equipment? How the hell can
Do
you
you
sell
know what
equipment?
the letter was about from the lawyer? Because they couldn't get communication with this YouTuber guy. Correct the technical information. They never, ever commented on the negative review. It was never about a negative review. The company DCS is a grown up. They are a legacy product.
They
I
sure
got
are.
an email from someone that said, "Oh, Angie, you should think about not buying any more DCS
Yes.
and stop selling it or stocking it." And I quickly responded by, "Don't send me any emails, and I will gladly continue my relationship with them." Because the whole thing is just blown out of proportion. If this is what YouTubers are going to do, threaten liability on things that aren't even true. There
Wasn't
was no
someone
liability.
wasn't
There
someone let
was no
go?
legal suit that I understand that DCS had. They had a legal letter only because this other YouTuber guy was not communicated in a timely fashion.
Wasn't
This,
one guy DCS let go?
my understanding is I haven't got confirmation, but the letter from DCS says that he was let go. And I'm telling you, they
Oh,
let
it's a
go a
shame.
strong person.
That's a
This
shame.
guy was heart and soul into the product. And I think it's a great loss for not just DCS, but a great loss for users of the product,
The
investors in buying that product.
the
Because
impetuosity of you.
this guy had all the answers. This guy had all the knowledge. He lived and breathed this product. And now he's supposed to lose his job because someone distorted a lawsuit, which wasn't a lawsuit. I mean, I'm just
Well,
upset about this.
and for
It's so
our
hard to find good people in this industry.
have you
It
did you see the
really is.
did you see the videos, Ange?
I saw all the videos.
Okay.
I saw
So
everything.
I would s-
And
I would encourage everybody to check the videos.
yeah,
They're actually quite well done, and you can make your own mind up. I do know that the DCS letter from the managing director, is it? Was very well written and sounded heartfelt. So it
yes,
seems like it's blown over now. I just think anytime people have this threat of litigation, if you think of the big picture, though, it's like a reviewer is, you know, you got to prove malice. If you want to judge
it
Judy,
was
you
never about
you'll
a bad review.
n-
It was never about it. Write whatever the hell you want. You know me. You don't like something, that's okay. I can show you something else. You don't have to like, not everything is likable. You know, now there's a distortion about expensive audio gear, how it's being trashed now.
well, that's because YouTube is just like, my God, it's like you're getting a free record and people
Controls
freak
them.
out. Yeah.
We have ourselves, we try to be as respectful to the product, as respectful to the buyer, and give him real information and respect his likes or dislikes. But no one ever said from the company that they didn't like the negative review. It was never about a negative review. And now he wins. Why does he win? Oh, he gets to review Alina. Oh, and it might even be gifted. Is that right? Is that fair?
I know he's
So let
going
me
to.
beat you up,
I-
Anthony, so I get a free record from you. Let me beat you up.
yeah.
I'm just upset about this, and I have a right and a wrong, and there's no middle here. There's no middle.
Well, everybody should check the videos out. And you've heard Angie, you've heard us. I just think it's just unpleasant when someone is either threatened indirectly or directly, or you
Yeah.
don't like if you don't like something. If you don't like something, you don't like it.
It's
Anyway,
okay. It's okay.
I just thought I'd bring that
Well,
up
Thank you.
because
Let's move on.
that's
there's-
okay. No problem. Jim, what do you,
Let's move
oh,
on.
Jim, does Jim have a question?
Jim, what's up?
yes, I want to know. No. Okay, look. For a start, as you say, Angie, you've got to get a degree of intelligence and even balance in these things. I mean, my view, and I think sort of being involved with things as well in business, no one's going to take out a legal case against somebody if they're in America and you're in England or Germany, because the
Right.
legal system is not the same and will not work in that way. You'll have to have a huge amount of money. You'll have to engage, an American
Right.
lawyer if you want it. No one's going to do that. That's
No.
not going to happen. What will happen is, as you said, Angie, somebody will say, well, get your facts right or whatever. But then somebody, it's like if you go to, in the UK, if you go to a bed and breakfast hotel or something and you write a bad review because you didn't get a tomato on your full English breakfast, and that happens a lot. And they go, oh, well, I'm not staying there. Oh, and they put a nasty review online and then these guys get angry but that's the sort of thing it is. And no one is going to sue anybody. If your production.
No one's interested in suing. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
I told you,
Yeah.
And
Judge
if
Judy,
anything,
it never wins.
in
They
the
never win.
past, a criticism on a product is actually a good thing. Why? It brings it to the forefront to say, oh, we better revisit this product and make it better.
Yeah.
That's what grown-ups do. That's what grown-ups do. So let's be passionate in a grown-up way. That's all I would end my comment on that.
Okay,
Yeah.
Scott, we're gonna go jump to the vault. Let's see what you got. I've got a few, and I'm sure Jim has a few. Get ready, Jim, to throw down because Scott's going to show off now.
Not really, no. I only have I chose 2 labels that you probably haven't heard of, and 2 records from each. So back in the 60s, there was this label called Time. I don't know if you're familiar with them. This is one of their famous records.
No,
It's
no.
a percussion extravaganza. Beautiful. This is actually, wow. Actually, this is my second copy. This is sealed.
Oh, now he's just showing off.
But yeah, $1.99. Not that, I mean, they're not really audiophile recordings, but the conductor is Paul Price, who was famous for this kind of work. And there is so much, a battery of percussion on this. It's fun for audiophiles to hear that kind of music in a semi-modern classical style. This is another one from Time Records. Stockhausen.
Oh,
Yeah.
Look at that.
Very rare. It's very rare to find this.
That'll wake you up in the morning.
Yeah. Again, it's wood blocks, cymbals, glockenspiels, vibraphones, cowbells, celeste, marimba phone, just everything but the kitchen sink. And this first piece has 2 magnetic tapes, so it's kind of a tape and percussion thing. Stockhausen was into that at the time. And the other label is Tomato Records, or Tomato, as someone might say.
Yes.
Oh, look at that.
This is the original Einstein on the Beach, Philip
Oh,
Glass.
Philip Glass.
Wow.
Great.
Cool.
Yeah. And they had the coolest label, the famous Apple label. Well, Tomato had tomato.
That's cool.
Tomato label. Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
How does that
Um,
sound?
It sounds great. This was a really good recording. It was later re-released on CBS Masterworks. I think they bought it. Same Philip Glass Ensemble. I actually got to see Philip Glass Ensemble once in Boston, and it was so good. He just performed a little bit of this, but that's quite an investment in time and patience to get through that whole opera. The other Tomato record I have to show you today is this.
Wow, these are great.
John Cage. Yeah.
What a collection, Scott.
Sonatas
Amazing.
and interludes for prepared piano, where he would screw down piano strings and stuff like that, right? Yeah, it's quite an interesting performer. So those are my selections for the evening. A little avant-garde.
Wonderful, Scott. Thank you so much.
Sure.
Beautiful.
Sure.
Okay, Jim, do you have any records to show?
Yeah, I have actually.
Okay, here we go.
No. Right,
Throw
okay,
down.
well, I'm going to carry on Scott's very briefly, just with two records. I mean, I've got a few others here, but I've got this double CBS Masterworks, the complete works of Carl Rubels.
Oh, cool.
It's a double LP with all the details of where he was born, and there's librettos and bits. But then again, it's a lovely. I mean,
That's a great record. Buffalo Philharmonic.
And it's old Tilson Thomas. The old the CBS Masterwork thing.
Yeah.
Again, I don't think it's been played more than once. If it's been played once, because there's not a scratch on it, even on the spindle thing. But I thought that's quite good because I had his Sun Treader on on tape. I think the second one is this Charles I String Quartet.
Oh, wow.
And it's non-such.
Are they more modern or are they more tuneful?
The 1896 one, the String Quartet #1, is a more traditional. It's before he got into the sort of the camp meeting and all those things, but it's non-such. I don't know much about non-such. I mean, Scott, are they much more available and popular in America than?
Oh yes, they were quite common for the 60s and the 70s.
But
They still put stuff on Twitter. I know that.
I mean, this actually, looking at it, this record is absolutely mint.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
I don't think it's ever been played.
Robert Ludwig mastered a lot of their releases, so they do sound good.
Right. Yeah. And the other two, well, the one is this, which is quite interesting. It's a Decca one, but it's Hans Schmidt Isserstedt, Vienna Philharmonic. Apparently, his Beethoven cycle is very good. It's just been released on CD, I think.
Very good. He's a great conductor.
And I mean, I know he died in the early 70s, but again, it's virtually the record is completely brand new. I mean,
Jim, you were the one that put me onto Schmidt Esserstedt. You told me about him like 20 years ago.
Yeah, absolutely. And then finally, a great sort of historical release is this Dindy Symphony on French Mountain. Grant Johansson London Symphony, and of course Sir Eugene Goosens and Lawrence Collingwood.
Wow.
I haven't played this yet.
That's a great record.
It's mono, and again, it's virtually it's
unbelievable.
I don't even I can't find a scratch on the spindle anyway, so I'm going to look forward to playing that tomorrow. So those are my little
Yes, Scott. There were some really good ones.
Yeah, I'm so jealous. I got to go to London.
No, you guys hit out of the park tonight.
We'll go
I'll
charity
tell you one thing. I was talking to the guy in one of the shops, and he said that people are getting onto this now. There's a lot of people. He thinks that they're coming over and buying. There's a guy comes over, takes 200 LPs away every month, which he thinks he's putting on Discogs to make a profit on. So people are getting wise. I mean, there are 2 or 3 shops in London which, you know, just specialize in things, and I think they're getting the Chinese as well, apparently coming over.
Yeah.
Jim, read Jeremy's comment, please.
Nonsuch was a wonderful budget label. I bought a bunch of the Leslie Jones Little Orchestra of London recordings of Haydn. Yeah, absolutely. I've got those on another label, but they're great. They're really good.
And Tech Writer says also the Bach Magnificat and Cantata 51.
Yeah.
And Nonsuch is an absolute gem.
Yeah.
Nonsuch also had a 20th century series as well. I'll show those next time.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
Good pressing with printed dead wax markers. And Ozzy's in town. Hey, Ozzy, how are you? Ozzy says, good evening. Ozzy is Piccolina the cat. Good evening, Anthony and panel. And by the way,
you love the sound of Michael Hedges. Yeah.
Jack has joined the panel. And Ozzy loves the sound of Michael Hedges too. And also, Ozzy says, you have to be out of your mind to listen to Philip Glass. I'm almost there. I have 15 CDs by him. My favorite is Glass Masters, a three CD set.
Yeah.
And Jeremy also says Paul Jacobs' Debussy on Nonsuch was also wonderful. Paul Jacobs was the pianist for the New York Philharmonic, and he and Joella Jones, she was the pianist for Cleveland. Those two were great artists who recorded on Nonsuch. And there's a lot of pianists who are attached to an orchestra that actually are very fine. But Paul Jacobs is probably the most famous in the States.
That's a beautiful record for sure.
Yeah.
So who has the Nonsuch records now? Who has the license for them?
Oh.
I think Nonsuch does. They keep tweeting me on that.
They do. What's interesting is that Pat Metheny actually has 1 or 2 releases that he did on Nonsuch before he moved on. Just quite.
They have started. They have in recent years done some popular artists on Nonsuch.
So before we get to Angie and Jack about their records, let's go to Carl. And Carl, do you have a little bit? A little bit about streaming.
Yeah, I do. I have some things I've been meaning to show, and we haven't had time and such. So I have a couple of things.
Take your time. Take your time.
Okay, one of them. Well, maybe I'll show you what I had in mind. First of all, this kind of we were talking about Bartók, and this is a bust, and the history is quite fascinating. Bartók in the 40s came to New York City to get away from Europe, and he was welcomed by Columbia University as part of his stay there. He also died several years later, but he had mingled with the music department and such. And when he died, the country he came from, Hungary, an artist there made a bust for the government and sent it to Columbia University to keep in his honor. And so it's up on the 7th floor next to the music school department there. And I've seen it before.
Oh.
This is from 219. The article kind of reminded me to point that out to you. Bring me the head of Bela Bartók. So in that regard, I had, I'm sure I didn't get to be here when you were talking about Bartók, but there's some pieces that I've always kind of liked. And this is one of them. Oops, what happened here? There we go.
He recently died.
Oh, yeah.
Viktor Orban's favorite pianist. You know what I mean? But a fantastic pianist.
So interestingly, I had this thing long ago, and the first piece on this is called Allegro Barbaro.
Oh,
and
yeah,
it's
it's
quite
a great piece.
a wonderful piece. But what I'm remembering also, for those of you who long ago, 1970 perhaps, Emerson, Lake and Palmer, their first album, this kind of classical progressive rock band, very, very wild. They had their first track of their first album called The Barbarian, and they gave credit to, it was based on exactly that piece. And it's actually quite bizarre to listen to it if you get a chance to listen to it decades
Fabulous
later.
piece. Allegro Barbaro is a great piece.
So that one has that on it. Plus it has the 3 rondos on folk tunes, 3 Hungarian folk tunes, and Suite Opus 14. Now, what I did discover also was that in addition to that, there's this is eight CD by him with all
Oh,
sorts of
cool.
other things,
Oh,
loads
wow.
of stuff.
His
we're gonna listen to that.
his Philips Ravel CDs are wonderful.
Mm.
So this has the Allegro vibrato on it as well as just about everything. So that's worth checking out. Now what else did I have here? Putting Bartok aside. Oh, this is something I've been meaning to show also. Oh wait, one more Bartok. I'm sorry. I also was into these. They're the kind of
Microcosmos.
exercise.
Yeah, for
exercise
children. Microcosmos.
Mm.
And they get increasing. It's about 4 albums usually, and I have a nice LP set of these at home. I wish I could show them, but I have to wait till I get back to New York, and I'll do that next time. I can't remember.
Carl's going to be showing records too.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite box sets. It's really nice, and I like the way it's percussive and complex, increasingly complex. And I just kind of like those pieces. And then finally, how about I've been meaning to show this one. I just love this thing from.
Oh, you played me that. That's wonderful. What a recording.
Wow.
The two of them just really get along so well. You can tell that it's not like they just got together a couple of days before. They're so connected. It's just a beautiful, beautiful recording. I mean, I remember being stunned when I could hear you can hear the cellist breathing. The recording's quite good too. So yeah, I highly recommend this one.
That's a winner.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much all I have to say. I mean, maybe I should mention this. We all talked about this before. It's at 2496 high res. Tom's, it's available. So it is.
That's great.
I've listened to it. The sound quality is striking. Yeah.
Tom is unbelievable. So, Jack and Angie, do you have any records to show?
I have a couple.
Okay, we'll just do Jack first. We'll do the couple, then we'll finish off the evening with Angelina.
I quick pulled this out.
Hang on, bud. Let me get you big. Hang on. Where is it here?
Time Records. I pulled this out when Scott was talking.
Oh, Time. Yeah, Scott. Everybody has Time, Scott.
They're not they're not, like Scott said, they're not really an audiophile record label, but they sound great, and their recordings are super. And they do different things. This is it's not really a big band record. It's a brass orchestra. It's called Magnificence and Brass, and this band is like it's like the Mahler of a jazz band. It's like eight trumpets and some of the greatest studio people and trumpets and around. There's 11 trombones, bass trombones, baritone horns. There's 6 French horns, 2 tubas, bass, piano, and drums. And there's some heavy jazz guys on here.
Yeah,
and it's just an interesting thing. But their recordings are really, really good. If you see them and they're in good shape, I pick them up just to listen to them. They're usually very cheap, like Scott said, and you know, what have you. Speaking of cheap, I'll show you my last 2 purchases I will ever make off of eBay. Actually,
oh no!
Well, it's the sealed record that's sealed on the outside and unsealed on the inside.
Oh God!
But I did get a great copy of this.
Oh.
Okay.
And it's just super. That's 15, and that came off Discogs, so that was in great shape. But these two, and I may have shown one of these the last time we were in.
No, you haven't.
They both came, and they're VG plus, VG to VG plus both. But they were advertised as mint, sealed, and they were sealed.
No,
on the outside, but not on the inside. But fortunately, they were only about $8 or $9 a piece. And
after you clean them, did they sound better?
Yeah, I cleaned them. I'm really thinking about investing in a degritter. I'm using a Humming Girl right now, and it does an okay job. But
the degritter is amazing.
I'm starting to get
very expensive.
It's
very expensive.
Yeah, and
Angie's is the one you want. It's only like $7,000.
But you get picky, you really get picky. And then the very last thing I picked up.
I'm sorry.
This is a great record, and I was really lucky to find this. This is a
Oh,
great
wow.
version of the Firebird, and it's just this. I saw him when he was conducting Cleveland,
Me
and
too. Brilliant. And Jim,
he
didn't you, Jim?
really
Yeah, yeah.
underrated conductor.
Very.
Everybody knows the big name guys, and he's a big name conductor. He just isn't a household name, and he should be.
Incredible, incredible. We saw him do Bruckner 5 with the Cleveland.
Yeah,
Jim and I were sitting there.
yeah.
And
So
I remember,
question. A Bruckner
pardon?
question. Since Bruckner's now the new Mahler, everybody was at the
he
Mahler.
certainly is. This
Bruckner.
is Bruckner. This is Bruckner 5.
What
And the
is
slow mo.
everybody's opinion about the
Sorry.
hating?
Hang on.
It's-
Yeah, let me
it's-
just get you up
it's that
again.
Bruckner 7th with hating. Anybody have an opinion on this?
Yeah, it's good. Really good. It's
I haven't
great,
listened to
great Bruckner orchestra, a great Bruckner conductor. It'll be good. The thing about the Bruckner 5 was in the Severance Hall, and Jim and I had seen San Francisco, and they were average in a horrible hall in Toledo. And we saw the Detroit. It was the could hardly play Bolero. Jim. They went to Cleveland, and Gary Hansen had Jim and I backstage, and he's the general director. He was a lovely man. We had he did the history of the Cleveland. He took us around Severance Hall and the pictures of all the principal players. All they do is teach at the institute and play concerts at that hall. They don't do Broadway. They don't do gigs. And we went and we sat down. We had great seats. Gary Hansen gave us great seats, and they started the Bruckner 5. And Jim and I just looked at each other like, "Oh my God, what a sound in that hall!" And they did the slow move to Bruckner 5 with the that great typical Bruckner adagio, and it was heaven, absolute heaven. One of the greatest concerts I've ever been to. Anyway, Jack, thank you so much for those records. Angie, do you have some records to show before we head off?
I've got one that I want to show. It's
Let me get
actually two, but it's the same record.
Let me get you up.
This one here.
Yeah.
So I have it in mono and stereo.
Oh, look at that!
Yeah.
What an artist!
And I
That's a
don't
good
know
one.
which one I like better. They both sound very good. Even
Right.
the label on the record is the same,
Yeah.
except here you could see, maybe not.
Dinah
This is
Groove.
the stereo one, LS, this side here, and this one's the mono one.
I've got a question for you, Angie.
Oh God!
Yes,
Go ahead,
hit
bud.
me.
Okay, right. When you've got a record, the same record, one is stereo and one is mono.
Yes.
How much do you reckon it's? I know you're going to say it's a cartridge or something, but when you've got a good mono cartridge on your system, does the speaker make a huge difference to the sound? I mean, obviously, if it's mono, it's one track coming out of one speaker. So is it really important that if you're playing mono records, you have a very good speaker? Or are you happy to have it going out of both speakers as a mono signal? How does that work now in the modern world of?
Okay, the speaker matters less. What matters more is the cartridge. However, more and more mono records are being played through the stereo for a simple reason. Most people don't have two tone arms on their table,
Yeah.
or they don't have two like tables. So a lot of people will play their monos through the stereo cartridge, and that's fine. What changes is the way the music is presented. You still get a middle, but you get a different feeling. It's more of an emotional presentation. So the stereo one will give you a wider, deeper sound stage. But the monos sometimes give you a better feeling of the music, a more intimate feeling of the music. So that's why I say I don't know which one I like more. One makes me feel a certain way, and the other is grander.
Right.
So the speakers matter less. It's the cartridge. And if you're lucky enough to have a turntable with two tone arms, then you can easily switch back and forth. And of course, your phono stage has to have two phono inputs.
Right.
Yeah.
So show us the
Is
record.
that an answer?
Yeah. No,
great.
that's interesting. Yeah.
Okay. Here's a Vanguard record. which is
Right.
absolutely amazing.
Oh, beautiful. Who's the Philharmonic Promenade? That's probably the LSO or the Philharmonic, just a different name because of licensing.
Who's conducting?
Adrian Bolt.
Oh, Adrian Bell. Right.
And
Oh, that's a beautiful record.
Ah,
Symphony Number 4, Italian. Here's a fun record. That's a fun record.
Beautiful, beautiful music.
Oh yeah.
These are all originals, so this one you'll know has been reissued
Yeah.
on, I believe, Classic Records.
Scott, do you have an original of that?
Yes.
So do I.
I've got
That's a
three
great
originals.
record. Here
That's
we
one
go.
It's one of my favorites.
Oh,
I love that too.
Fantastic.
that's a great one. Beautiful, Ange.
Is that an original, Angie?
Go ahead, Ange.
Yes, it is.
All right.
The ones I'm showing you
guys-
tonight are all originals.
You
Yeah.
guys in your collections. Oh, beautiful.
uh-huh.
He's fabulous for Beethoven, Rendell.
You're gonna love the color of the cover of the next one.
Ooh, yes, I remember that.
Wow. I've never seen that one.
Yeah.
Who's the orchestra?
Here's the back.
Which orchestra is that?
Let's see. It is.
The Concert Arts Orchestra. So it's probably Chicago or Boston with a different name because of capital licensing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it just says Concert Art Symphony Orchestra.
Right.
That's a great.
Oh,
I've got that. That's a
cool.
great
Wow.
record.
Yeah.
That's a great record.
Wow.
And
That's-
we've
that's a
got a Deutsche
fantastic record.
Grammophon.
Oh, beautiful.
Mm.
He died 35 years ago today.
Oh,
Yeah. What's
Huh?
nice is all the other ones you can go on collecting.
They're
And of
really
course,
trying to.
you know, I'm always going to show a Dvorak.
That's a great one too. That's also on Testament.
Mm.
What were you going to say, Jim?
I can't remember now. It's gone.
at 6:39, you'll say, okay,
I'm
one more
dazzled.
question.
No, I'm dazzled by Angie's record. So yeah.
Now that probably sounds really good in mono. I think it.
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's mono. Yeah.
Yeah.
James, you can come down, organize my records, and I'll give you a box or two.
Oh, okay.
You'll have to choose which mansion you go in, though, Jim. He has 2 or 3.
Oh my
Well, I
God.
know. Well, I've
It's
been to
not a
one
mansion.
of your mansions. I haven't
Oh, that's
been
right.
to
Jim's
the
just been to one of the
It's
mansions.
not a mansion.
It's guys, it's a mansion.
Look at this one.
others.
That's
Everyone
great.
needs a mustache like this.
Yeah.
So
Jim.
this is a Telefunken
Yeah.
recording.
That's
Right.
a great
Their
company.
recordings are awesome.
They are.
You're
really good.
always going to have a good sounding record with Telefunken. And the comment on the Denon, I have had some Denons.
Yeah.
They're
what do you think,
recorded in
Ange?
Japan and they're awesome pressings.
Cool. Oh, that's an early mono. That's a good one. Famous.
I bet that's
Mm.
great.
And here's another one for Scott.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. That's a good one too.
I have to tell you, the monos, the RCA Victrola monos sound a lot better than the stereos. For some reason,
Yeah.
with that Audio Technica cartridge, by the way.
We're almost done. 2 more.
Oh yeah.
What's that?
The late
Well, that's a great record too.
the
The
aristocrat.
The aristocrat of orchestras. I love that. I know.
Yeah.
Ivan says so many nice records.
One more.
Okay.
Oh, what's that? Who's that? Who's
that
violin? Who's playing on that? Could you hold it a little closer, Ange?
Up.
No, just lift
Up.
it. Lift it up. Up, 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 up,
Up,
up, up, up.
up.
There we go. I can't see.
I can't read
Oh.
the artist.
Yeah.
What
It's
is it,
not
Angie?
Camperley, is it?
I think it's
Manuhin.
long play.
Oh, it's
Oh,
Menu.
Menuhin. Yeah.
Man,
Before you-
yeah.
before he had his nervous breakdown, I had to redo all his technique. Poor man.
Yeah.
Okay, there's actually two more.
Well, I'm sorry, Angela. Out of time. No, go ahead.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
And that
And the
one.
last one,
Oh, Stern
Uh,
Nielsen. Very underrated player. Really great player.
Yeah,
yeah, this is actually really nice.
those great performances are good stuff.
So we've got just a couple minutes. I'll just go through some of the questions. Ozzy said, I finished listening to Carl Nielsen's Aladdin Suite. Yeah, it's very interesting. Carl Nielsen, what a genius. I mean, if you don't know Carl Nielsen, his clarinet concerto is incredible, very difficult. Listen to our friend Jim and Kevin Banks on Naxos with the Borman Symphony. His Nielsen is very, very good. And Gareth, the flute player that you all know from the LSO, his flute concerto is on there. Flute concerto is a good piece. It's not as good as the clarinet. He had a friend in the Danish Wind Quintet, and he wrote a concerto for each of them. The Aladdin Suite is very good. Masquerade, but his symphonies 4 and 5, masterpieces. If you like percussion and like fun, the Fifth Symphony in the Fourth Symphony, the Inextinguishable, has a timpani battle. That's really good. Get the carry-on. It's digital, but it's very good. But if you want to get the best Symphony Number 5, Angie's boyfriend, Yasha Horenstein, did one with the New Philharmonic Orchestra. And the percussionist is Alfred Dukes. I swear to God, it's a friggin' war. Because what happens is there's a that rhythm goes through the whole symphony, and then it gets louder, and the snare drum has to try and stop the orchestra, and the orchestra's getting louder and louder. And most percussionists do a good job, but Alfred Dukes just lets it rip, and it's on non-such, like a unicorn, and then non-such like the Mahler 3. The Mahler 3. Oh my God, I cannot tell you how I'm in love with that record since Angie introduced it to me. It's just, I've listened to it like 10 times all the way through. And it's just, I can't get enough. The recording, the playing. And yes, Horenstein's interpretation is magnificent. And Angie was exactly right about what love tells us. Bang on, Ange. The other thing is, Sibelius, Nielsen 5, get Horenstein on Unicorn. Great composer. Anyway, Tech Writer says, just got a minute here, should do an informational on different magnetic tape widths, such as 35 millimeter, used during the 60s. Way to go, Tech Writer. Please do that. We'll get you on. Thank you so much. Anyway, guys, that's about it for tonight. So many great comments, and all the 6 pictures filled with our great friends and regular contributors.
Any homework, Anthony?
No. Well, I'm going to get to building a library, and we're going to get to the Four Seasons next week, I'm sure. What I wanted to do was a perfect night tonight, so Carl could do a lot of streaming, and we could just talk, and that one difficult issue we were talking about, and everybody gets the chance to say their piece and have 90 minutes kind of uninterrupted. And we're going to do the same next week. If you get a chance to do some homework for the Four Seasons, which would be great. But in the meantime, just want to say thank you to our great friends, all of you. You're wonderful. Thanks for coming on and taking some time. Thank you so much for the Peanut Gallery, the Macadamia Gallery, the Royal Circle. Anyway, guys, just stick around for a second. Have a great week, everybody. And we'll see you next week for another 90 minutes of fun. And Joey says, great show. And
Thank you, Joey.
Alan says, thanks, presenters. And Jeremy says, thanks so much and good night. So good night to everybody. Have a great week, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.